Hello, my name is Martin Wasserman, and one of the things that I do that gives me great joy is translate poetry, which isn't well known to the American public. And one of the languages in which I work, one of the languages in which I work is Yiddish, a language brought over to the United States by Eastern European Jews. And the poem I'm about to read is by Aaron Lutsky, and it's called Jazz. And Lutsky was both a poet and a musician, and he wrote this poem after visiting a jazz club on 52nd Street in New York City. Usually I try to unrhyme a poem because it's stilted and awkward if you don't, but the rhyme was so strong in this poem that it drove the rhythm. So I kept the rhyme as best I could. So here we go, jazz. Squeak, raw, fiddle, diddle, piano bang, babble, babble, stick, flick, quiver, fondle, shiver, clang. Hey, dance, advance, step and sing, and don't be scared to proudly swing. Take a cymbal and hit it hard. Bend your head and now beat the drum. Raise a foot, go jump awry. Wet your lips, then wink one eye. Sit astride a wooden chair, keep your eyes upraised high. Give a leap, fall downward sigh, and make those fools go cry, cry, cry. Roar and reach and grasp for love, a showgirl who won't give a rap. Give her money, let her take it, and burst out laughing in her lap. Turn about and bang the drum. Pound and keep the cymbals pressed. You are here to cause a frenzy. You are here to never rest. Now, go mighty drums and recollect, pound and work that final set. Hey, this beat's not through, jazz breeds anew. Just rush uptown, go search around, and soon you'll find your next wild crew. Okay.
My name is Joanne Seitz. I work in the sales office here at Edgewater. And the poem I picked is about trying to be kind to one another and caring about each other. And I picked this because of the times we're in right now. Sometimes I kind of get sad seeing how everybody's mad at everybody and there's so much hatred and anger. So that's why I picked this poem. And it's by a lady named Carly Dugmore. And here we go. Doesn't matter where you go or who you meet along the way. Carry kindness in your heart and practice it each day. A simple smile can change the course of someone else's week. The smallest gesture represents the gift of joy we seek. A gentle touch reminds us that humanity still reigns. To pet a lonely cat or dog shows that love will never wane. There are a million obstacles on any given day, but rise above the hate and fear and live life the kindness way.
Hello, my name is Suzette and I'm with Medical Records, and the poem I'm going to read today is called Keep on Smiling. If at times you feel you want to cry and life seems such a trial, above the clouds there's a bright blue sky, so make your tears a smile. As you travel on life's way with its many ups and downs, remember it's quite true to say one smile is worth a dozen frowns. Among the world's expensive things, a smile is very cheap. And when you give a smile away, you get one back to keep. Happiness comes at times to all, but sadness comes unbidden. And sometimes a few tears must fall among the laughter hidden. So when friends have sadness on their face and troubles round them piled, the world will seem a better place, and all because you smiled.
Hi, I'm Geraldine,
Hello, I'm Brianna.
and we decided to read this poem because with everything going on right now, we feel like it's a nice poem, and we hope that you like it.
Okay. Alright. It says,
Oh, and the title is Feelings. Feeling.
okay, it says, I don't know how I'm feeling. I think I feel alright. I'm busy doing nothing from morning until night. I don't know how I'm feeling. I left the house today. I went to do some shopping. I sung along the way. I don't know how I'm feeling. I gave the bags to Mom. We smiled and laughed, and she was fine. Then I went back home. I don't know how I'm feeling today. I'm not too sure. The numbers keep on climbing. Will they find a cure? Okay. I don't know how I'm feeling. I just don't need this stuff. Some cake and wine and chocolate. But boy, this thing is tough. I don't know how I'm feeling. When I stand and clap so loud, so grateful, happy, and so sad. And the isolated crowd, I don't know how I'm feeling. When will that dream job come? I'm optimistic, hopeful, the lucker and lucky than some. Okay. I don't know how I'm feeling. I saw the news today, but only very briefly. Why won't it go away?
I don't know how I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm sad. My family and friends, they're all fine. For that, I'm so glad. I don't know how I'm feeling, but I know it's true. We're all in this together. It's me and them and you. Do you know how you're feeling? You know that it's okay to sit and cry and wonder, to want a better day. Let's just hold this feeling of love, of light, of hope. Let's release all the quiet. Be proud of how you cope. I don't know how I'm feeling. I think I want to cry. I don't know. I make a coffee and stare out at the sky. Today I got a feeling that soon this will be done. Our lives will change forever, but look up at the sun. You know that deep down feeling of joy, of loss, of pain, the love, the sadness, and the hurt. You'll be okay again. One day we'll get that feeling. Was all this even real? Hold on to that feeling. In time we'll all be healed.
Okay.
So that's it.
That's it. Mhm.
And we hope you liked it.
Hi, I'm Judy Kazunis. I live in apartment A111. I've been here about 5 months. I moved here from Boston a few months ago. I lived there all my life. Those of you from the north know that winters are not only cold and snowy, but the days are short and many of them can be dark. And the first signs of spring are very much looked forward to by everybody. I wondered for a long time which day was the first when the sky showed signs of light in the evening as early as 5 p.m. I kept track, and the day it happened, I wrote this poem. This is called The 1st of March, Changeover Night in New England. This is the changeover night, the one brief sunset hour that happens once a year. Stop a moment and you can feel it, smell it, see it. The once-a-year frame in the motion picture of time that is both winter and spring. It is raining, it is warm, it is spring. The breeze is cold, it's biting, it's winter. The smell is of earth, of vegetation, it is spring. But the smell is also of slush and frozen ground. It is winter. The sky is streaked with light at 5 p.m. It is spring. The daytime clouds are dark and are filled with ice. It's winter. All of these things are so, but they are contradictions, and yet so simultaneously. But they can be so only this evening, this moment. For this is the changeover night, the time, both winter and spring.
Hello everybody, I'm Beth, and my presentation is the poem Trees by American poet Joyce Kilmer. It may be familiar to you a little way back, and it was set to music and quite popular in its time. Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. A tree that may in the summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who's intimate with lives and rain. Poems are made, by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. This poem I just have always enjoyed through my lifetime. I like nature, and it just kind of fits. And now I'm really going to go out on a limb and read a poem that trees inspired me to write. I haven't found a title for it. Maybe perhaps you'll have some suggestions. Remembering the sweet smell of the grass, feeling the soft breeze play over my skin, watching the leaves overhead as they dance in the branches, lifting, turning, changing colors and patterns, the warm sun peeking through as a warm, silky blanket. I'm floating. A ladybug flutters down and rests on my arm. What a beautiful, perfect creature. I hold my breath. She is motionless. Ladybug, ladybug, fly away home. She spreads her wings, rising, circling, flying, up, up. She's away. The sky is an artist's palette of blue and white. Billowing clouds, moving, changing, tossing, turning. Images appear, animals, faces, a towering castle, a chariot pulled by 2 white horses, prancing, galloping, disappearing into a tunnel of clouds. They're gone.
My name is Muriel Gorvine. I have a delightful poem that my husband wrote. Poetry was his hobby. And he wrote this when we were socializing with another couple. The wife used to always say to the husband, don't eat this, don't eat that. You're getting heavy, you're gonna get fat. So I just wanted to read this lovely fun poem. And it's titled Don't. It's not good for your heart, it will clog up a vein. It will cause you much suffering and cause you great pain. Put it aside, you don't really need it. But once you gain weight, your clothes will not fit. Don't eat butter, don't eat cake. I hear the word don't asleep and awake. Don't drink wine, it's got calories galore. The word don't is a word that I don't adore. Eat celery and carrots and munch on a fruit. From these you could die and you'll not give a hoot. Give me the pasta, the wine, and corned beef. Just not hearing don't brings the greatest relief.
I'm
Dr. Dennis A. Gladstone. Today is Father's Day 2020. And about 65 years ago, I had a conversation with my father, who was a English scholar. And he told me that his favorite poem was a poem called Alaska by a guy named Frank Dupriez. It was published in 1882, the era of the cowboy, and I thought it would be very appropriate. He wanted me to say it in a poetry contest, but I told him it was a bit long, and so I will say it for him now. I'm sorry he isn't here. Let's read it himself. May I start? Okay. Alaska. I want free life, and I want fresh air, and I sigh for the canter after the cattle, the crack of whips like shots in a battle, the medley of horns and hooves and heads that wars and wrangles and scatters and spreads, the green beneath and the blue above, and dash and danger, and life and love, and Alaska. Alaska used to ride on a mouse gray Mustang close by my side, with blue serape and a bright belled spur. I laughed with joy as I looked at her. Little she knew of books or of creeds, an Ave Maria sufficed her needs. Little she cared save to be by my side, to ride with me, and ever to ride. From San Saba's shore to Las Vascas tried, she was as bold as the billows that beat. She was as wild as the breezes that blow from her little head to her little feet. She was swayed in her suppleness to and fro by each gust of passion, a sapling pine that grows on the edge of a Kansas bluff and wars with the wind when the weather is rough. Is like this Alaska, this love of mine. She would hungry that I might eat, would take the bitter, leave me the sweet. But once, when I made her jealous for fun at something I whispered or looked or done, one Sunday in San Antonio, to that glorious girl in the Alamo, she drew from her garter a dear little dagger, and, sting of a wasp, it made me stagger, an inch to the left or an inch to the right, that I shouldn't be mortaring here tonight. So she sobbed, and sobbing, so swiftly bound, her torn rebozo about the wound, that I quite forgave her. Scratches don't count in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. The air was heavy and the night was hot. I sat by her side and forgot the herd that were taking their rest, forgot the air was close oppressed, that the Texas northerner comes sudden and soon, in the dead of night or the blaze of noon, that once let the herd at its breath take fright. Nothing on earth can stop the flight, and woe to the rider, and woe to the steer, who falls in front of their mad stampede. Was that thunder? I grasped the cord of my swift Mustang without a word. I sprang to the saddle, and she clung behind. Away, not a chase down the wind, but never was fox hunt so hard, for never was steed so little spared. For we rode our lives. You shall hear how we fared in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. The Mustang flew, and we urged him on. There was once a chance left. You have but one. Halt, jump to the ground, shoot your horse, crouch under its carcass, and take your chance. And if the steers in their frantic course don't bother you both to pieces at once, you may thank your star. If not, goodbye to the quickening kiss and the long sigh, and the open air and the open sky in Texas, down by the Rio Grande. The cattle gained on us, just as I felt, for my old six-shooter behind my belt. Down came the Mustang, down came we, clinging together. And what was the rest? A body that spread itself on my breast, two arms that shielded my dizzy head, two lips that hard on my lips were pressed. Then thunder in my ears, over a surge, the sea of steers. Blows that beat blood into my eyes, and when I could rise, Alaska was dead. I gorged out a grave, few feet deep. Sorry. And there in the earth's arms, I laid her to sleep. And there she is lying, and no one knows, in the summer shines and the winter snows. For many a day the flowers have spread a pale of pearls over her head. The little gray hawk hangs aloft in the air, and the sly coyote trots here and there, and the black snake glides and glitters and slides into a rift in a cottonwood tree, and the buzzard sails on and comes and is gone, stately and still like a ship in the sea. And I wonder why I do not care for the things that are like the things that were. Does my heart lie buried there in Texas, down by the Rio Grande? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jill Hunter. I live in the C Building, apartment 520. This is my favorite poem. It's really dedicated to my husband, Larry. We've been married 65 years, April 10th, during the beginning of the pandemic, but we were together. And it's Sonnets from the Portuguese. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. When feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need, by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. And this is by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I thank you.
Hello, I'm Judy Evans, and I am happily here in the C Building at Edgewater. Before I read this poem to you, I'd like to explain a little what it's all about. It was written by my British aunt, Mrs. Marjorie Corbett, and is very personal to me. In 1940, when I was 2 weeks old, and my cousin John was 6 weeks old, we were bombed in the house we lived in. Our mothers, both school teachers, had moved from the London Blitz to Birmingham in the Midlands of England to get relief from the bombing further south. Then the attack started on several more northerly industrialized cities, and just after we were born, a bomb fell directly on our house. Our mothers, with us newborn babies, hid under the stairs, and amazingly we were saved. The lady next door was killed, and 6 row houses were demolished. In today's unsettling world, when I look back at this poem, I find hope that despite dark days can come life and happiness. In our present weeks of pandemic and social unrest, we must look positively to the future and remember there is always room for change and a hope for a better life ahead. Now to the poem. It's called First Night of the Birmingham Blitz, November the 19th, 1940, and is written by my aunt, Mrs. Marjorie Corbett. What tempered anguish that lugubrious night, when in the wake of sirens' mournful wail, death-laden squadrons droned in flight on flight, great fire and devastation in their trail. As man unleashed his hell on fellow man, with thud and crump the fearful weapons spawned, so many alive, God knows when night began, entombed or blasted lay when daylight dawned. 2 babes were there, dashed down among the rubble, whose tiny hands' tenacious hold on life brought hope that conflicts but the spirit's trouble. Deliverance one day shall come from strife. Bear witness, then, mid all earth's heinous slaughter, thou cherished son, and thou most beloved daughter.
Hello, my name is Gerald Evans, and I live in the C building. I was born and brought up in a small town by the sea in the west coast of England. As an adult, I've lived most of my life in towns or cities which are by the sea. I've paddled in it, I've swum in it, I've fished in it, I've sailed on it, and I've spent many hours walking beside it and just looking at it. It's been a most important backdrop to my life and a kinship that I hope to renew when the COVID-19 story is over. John Masefield was the Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom from 1930 until his death in 1967. As a young man, he'd sailed the oceans of the world and wrote many poems about the sea. This is one of his best. It's called Sea Fever. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the sea again, to the call of the running tide, a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spew, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the sea again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way, and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick is over.
Hi, I am Alice Sproul, and the poem I am reading today was written by my very dear cousin, Linda Wayne. She and her husband are in our age group and therefore at high risk for the coronavirus. So like so many today, we are being deprived of attending special family occasions, such as her grandson's long-awaited bar mitzvah. These are her words to her grandson at this bittersweet time. Her intent was to express her pride and love without dwelling on her disappointment. To Nathan, today you have reached your bar mitzvah day. All of your studying will finally pay. You will read from the Torah, a hard thing to do, and your family and friends will be so proud of you. This day marks the start of becoming a man, and you know we both are a very big fan. It begins your responsibility of being a Jew and thinking of daily mitzvahs that you can do. Although the virus has kept us away, we will be watching on Zoom as you begin to pray. Grandpa and I picked out your tallis with a heart full of love and pray to our God watching above, that you will have a happy and a beautiful life, filled with joy, with love, and someday a wife. And so to you, Nathan, our grandson, we send all our love with lots of hugs and a hearty mazel tov. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Marva Blousing at C315 at Edgewater Estates. This poem was dedicated to my sister-in-law, Esther Jarvis Blank, a very, very lovely lady. In her early 30s, she succumbed after a battle with breast cancer. This is a fictionalized story of her last stop, and it's called The Last Stop. We sat very quietly on the train as it staked its way. Everybody was so upset. What could we say? Nobody else was sitting on the train now. We didn't know what would happen or how. Suddenly, the conductor said, "Last stop, only for Esther, not for everyone." We realized with a terrified feeling that the train had finished its run. Our nerves were becoming numb, actually raw. For Esther, the train would run no more. Poor Essie, no more, no more. It was the end, but we did not understand. We did not see. Not yet. It was too early, and we were not ready. How could it be? Last stop, last stop. The conductor kept up his call from the rear. The wheels had ground to a halt. The crest was still. No noise for us to hear. We moved outside where the air hung motionless. No movement at all. Time had disappeared and death had made its call. Pain was etched on our faces as we stood there, rooted in our places. Tears began to roll, tears of bitterness, because it was all so unfair. Our bodies racked with sobs. The noise was cutting through the air. Wait, wait! Perhaps there could be a way. An idea had come alive that could put off possibly this dreadful day, the thought had struck us at the same time at what could be. Each knew the other would agree. As one voice, we cried out to death who was in our view. Take our daughter instead. We want to make a trade with you. The conductor stood impassively. We thought he did not hear. An enigmatic smile crossed his face and then changed to a sneer. In a cold, chill voice, he screeched, "It's my choice, and I wish to take. You do not get to choose. I control. It is not your choice to make." Our feet were weary. They felt like clay. Our arms hung limply at our side. What could we say? Panic now engulfed us with an overpowering surge, killing off every thought and each and every urge. Then Esther stepped forward. She did it so calmly. You could feel her courage and resolution. It was very plain to see. She had fought for year after year. Each one gained was held so dear. She was ready to fight now, but the paradox was there. She was ready to go. The pain was evident, the agony clear. Enough, she said. I want to be free. And we finally understood what it was to be. Then I noticed someone coming up from the rear. I recognized my father, who suddenly did appear. He smiled at us, and the air around us began to move and sway. How is Cheryl, he inquired, as if it was just a usual day. I always ask about her, you know. She's always been in my heart. She's always been there, right from the start. He told us that he came today with sadness upon his face, but he knew he wanted to come to lead Esther to her place. He wanted to be there, to be able to calm her fears, take care of her for us, to wipe away the tears. The sun was shining now, slicing through the trees. What a lovely sight. Its rays were creating a golden shaft of shimmering light. It lit up the ground everywhere it took hold. Esther and my father walked through the shaft of sunlight, their color almost gold. She turned and smiled at us, a twinkle in her eye. Now I'll watch over you, she said, as each year goes by. The look of pain was gone. Her look was really new. Anxiety had disappeared, and agony was missing too. You see, now your worries can cease, for now I am in peace.
At peace.
Thank you.